Hi, I'm Todd with Archangelis Games, and this is
Evie.
my daughter and co-designer, co-developer, co-tester for all the games that we create. We wanted to take some time today to show you our second game. Thank you to all of you who supported our first game, Archangelis, the angelic uh, battle for all creation. We decided to go a different direction in our second game. Our second game is about what?
Space pirate.
Space pirates. So in this game, you will be a not so legendary space pirate at the start of it. But if you play your cards right, by the end of it, you could be downright infamous and control your sector of the galaxy. So let's get started looking at some of these sets. The first set that will be available in ArchPiratus is the core set. And the core set has everything you need for 2 players, including one set of all the cards. And these are miniature playmats to help you with where the various ship parts go. They're all different designs. And you can see that on this one, there is a place for the engine, the computer, a couple of rooms, weapons, armor, and at the very bottom are slots for your crew members. The core set comes with 2 mats because, again, it's a 2-player set, as well as 2 custom dice that'll help you track your movement from space station to space station, as well as the number of hits your ship has taken. And then, of course, wouldn't do you much good without a rule book. All right. What do they need to do if they want to play with more than 2 people?
You have to get the bigger set.
That's right. We have a 4-player add-on set. And the 4-player add-on set includes exactly what you would expect. Some additional cards that you'll need for 3 or 4 players, as well as 2 different colored dice and 2 different miniature playmats for your ship and crew layout. The last set we want to show you is
the deluxe set.
That's right, the deluxe set. And the deluxe set features everything I've shown you so far. So you've got all the cards that you need for up to 4 players. You've got 4 custom dice. Instead of the small playmats, the custom set comes with 4 unique large playmats. So these playmats are a little different. They each have a different ship picture printed on them, as well as places for the engine, the armor, the weapons, the rooms, and slots for your different crew members, and some handy guides as to the turn sequences. But that's not all. In this set, you also get all of the expansions. So, as we said, it comes with everything you need for the 4 players. So it's got the 4-player expansion. It also has the First Contact add-on, which includes another space station, the alien space station, alien crew members, alien ship parts, and alien missions. You also have the Admirals add-on. The Admirals add-on adds a whole different level of strategic gameplay and has commanders that you can choose from the beginning of the game. And the last set is the Cosmic Events. If you want to add just a little bit more challenge, you want some random events that pop up and either throw out bonuses to all players or hindrances to all players, Cosmic Events is for you. It just makes the game a little bit more exciting, a little bit more challenging, and a copy of the rulebook. Okay, so let's get started. Just so you know, as we do this walkthrough, we will be using the larger ship playmats that come with the deluxe set. A smaller version comes with the core set and the 4-player add-on. And you will see cards from the various expansions in here. We will point out when cards come from an expansion. In this game, you are trying to become the most infamous and successful space pirate in the sector. But in order to do that, you're going to have to develop your ship and your crew. At first, you're probably only going to be able to do the easy jobs that are available. But as you get a little bit stronger, your ship gets stronger, your crew has more ability, you'll be able to take on harder missions. Really, your goal is to get strong enough that you can go after one of the final missions on the final base. In order to do that, you're going to have to collect 6 mission points. Now, as you go along, you can choose what difficulty of jobs or missions you want to go after. And the amount of points you get for completing them will correspond to the level of difficulty. So, for example, easy missions, they're easy to complete. You don't need that much on your ship or your crew, but they only give you 1 point towards the 6 you need to do a final mission. On the other hand, medium missions will give you 2 points, and hard missions will give you 3 points. Again, once you have 6, you can collect one of the final missions, and the first player to complete a final mission wins the game. Okay, so let's get started. Let's look at the different types of cards. Now, remember, we will be looking at the cards from the add-on sets, which can be purchased separately. First part of the game, if you're playing with the Commanders add-on, you and your opponent will want to choose a commander. This can either be done randomly or by allowing each player to pick the commander of their choice. Each commander has an ability which will be permanent throughout the game. For example, Admiral Kimura, when you draw your hand, you can draw 1 extra card and then discard one of the cards drawn. After you've picked your commander, you just place them face up on your side of the table. The rest of the commanders can be set aside because they'll be out of the game. Next, you'll need to make each player's starting deck. Each player's starting deck will include 3 contract cards. Contract cards, you can see, have a credit value, so they can be spent like money in the store. Or each turn, you can use 1 contract card to contract a job or mission. Each player again gets 3 of those cards. Each player will get 7 credit cards. Credit cards can only be used to buy items in the store. Once each player has their starting deck, be sure to shuffle those cards well. Okay, you can see I've placed my ship playmat in front of me. My opponent would do the same. The ship playmat has a guide to the turn phases with a couple of reminders, as well as places for your engine, a couple of rooms, a computer, armor, and a weapon. At the bottom are slots where you can place each of your crew members. Also, you can see in the middle of the table, I've created the store. I have local contact cards, which can be bought very inexpensively, only for 2 credits. And at the beginning of the game, you'll probably wind up wanting to buy lots of these, because they only cost 2, but when they turn up in your hand, they'll grant you 2 credits. Alternatively, they have one sort of special feature, which is that one of these, and only one, can be added to your crew. If they are, they add 2 crew points to your crew. If ever one of these is on your crew, and you replace it with a new crew member, this card goes back to the store. Here, we have our tech deck. At the beginning of the game, you'll want to take 5 tech cards and place them in the 5 available store spaces. Inside the tech deck, you'll find things like computers, armor, rooms, engines, and weapons. You'll see that these have a certain cost amount in the upper left corner. In the bottom corner is a credit value, which you can use to buy things in the store. But one thing to remember is that when you use a tech item to buy things in the store, it doesn't go to your discard like other cards. It goes to what's called the salvage pile, which can be placed right next to the local contacts. All cards in the salvage pile cost only 2 credits to buy. Think of it as a junkyard. Okay, so if you spend a tech card, it goes to the salvage pile and can be bought by anybody for 2 credits. But at the beginning of the game, we draw 5 tech cards and place them face up in the store. These will be the first 5 cards that players can buy. If on your first turn you draw an event card, simply place it somewhere else in the deck, anywhere you would like. It could be on top, in the middle, on the bottom, because we don't want to start the game with any events in play. If later, when replacing a card in the store, an event card turns up, you immediately stop, do whatever it says, and then place it off to the side. That event will remain in play until the next event is drawn. Then you would draw another card to fill that space in the store. We'll show more on that in a bit. On the other side of the store, you'll see the crew deck. Every time you buy something from the store, you will have the option of either replacing it with a card from the tech deck or from the crew deck. In the crew deck, you'll find various crew types like mechanic, pilot, commanding officer, security officer, and navigator, each with their own abilities. You will also find piracy cards, which have an effect each time it's played from your hand, and titles, which you will place next to your commander, granting a permanent ability to your side of the board. The last set of cards that I've placed are the stations with the missions. We have easy missions, medium missions, hard missions, final missions, and alien missions. When using a contract card to draw a mission, you can choose from any of these except final. You can only choose a final mission if you've already successfully completed 6 mission points of the other kinds. You do not have to be on a space station to choose a mission from that space station, but you do have to be on that station to turn it in. For example, if I drew a medium mission on my turn and eventually met the criteria to complete it, I would need to travel to the medium station to turn that mission in for credit. But at the beginning of the game, both dice, representing both ships, start on the easy station. Each turn you'll be given a chance to move. All right, I think we're ready to start looking at the phases of gameplay. When it's your turn, the first thing you'll do is draw and fire. Normally, you will draw 3 cards. Immediately, you can look at those cards. You can see here I've drawn 2 contracts and 1 credit. That means, looking at the credit values, I could buy 3 credits worth of items from the store. Alternatively, I could buy 2 credits worth of items and use this to contract a job. I couldn't contract a second job because you can only contract 1 job per turn. Just remember, you can only contract a new job per turn, 1, and you can only turn in 1 job per turn. Okay, let's say that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a new job and I'm going to buy something for 2. Oh, but wait, before we move on to the buy phase, we have to fire. If you and your opponent are at the same location, you need to compare your weapon value against their armor value. If your weapon value is greater, you do them 1 damage and you increase the number on their die. If they were to get hit again, it would increase to 2, then 3, and then 4. If ever an opponent gets to 4, they've been hit 4 times, they are out of the game. They lose immediately. Okay, but in this case, we're at the same station, but I have no weapon, and they have no armor, meaning that our values are equal. They're both 0. So no firing takes place. It's worth mentioning that some games go without a single shot being fired. It's a strategy that is a strategy of choice. If you wish, you can play an aggressive game where you follow your opponent and every chance you get, you take a shot at them. Or they may play that strategy against you, keeping you on the run. Other times, players choose to focus more on their missions. Okay, so now it's time for me to buy things. I've got 2 to spend. Okay, well, when I look at the store, I've got that costs 4, that costs 4, that costs 4, that costs 3, and that costs 4. So what can I buy? Well, remember, local contacts only cost 2, and it's a good idea to buy them at the beginning of the game. Also, if there were a salvage pile, which there is not yet, I could buy anything in that salvage pile for 2. I'm going to spend my 2, placing those in my discard pile, to get a local contact. Any card you buy, whether it's from the local contacts, the tech deck, or the crew deck, when bought, goes to your discard. It'll show up in your deck later when you shuffle. So now I have this contract to take care of. I can set it over here. And now I have a choice. Do I want to get an easy mission worth only 1 point towards the 6 I need, a medium mission worth 2 points, a hard mission worth 3, or an alien mission, which will require that I have a certain amount of alien crew and tech on my ship with an unpredictable amount of reward. I'm going to play it safe a little bit. I'm going to choose a medium mission. Remember, I don't have to be at the medium station to get a medium mission. I just have to go there for when I want to turn it in. In this case, I drew Asteroid Field. It's a medium mission, and it requires at least a level 2 armor and a navigator. When I complete it, I'll get 2 mission points. Over here, green numbers refer to crew points. So this means I need to have 4 points of crew, which equates to 2 crew members. Well, since I don't have the armor or the navigator or the crew, I'm going to have to wait to turn this in. So I set it on top of its contract card. Each turn, I'll want to try to pursue items in the store that'll help me complete that mission. All right, the next step is to move. I don't have to move, and right now my opponent doesn't have a weapon, so I'm not in any danger. But if I wanted to, I could go ahead and move to the medium station, so I'll be there when it's time to turn in my mission. I don't have a mission to turn in, so phase 4 is done. We move on to phase 5, which is the end of my turn. I announce the end of my turn to my opponent, and it's their turn to draw and fire. As the game goes on, you may eventually wind up with certain technology in your discard pile. You may wind up with certain crew members in your discard pile that you've purchased. When you get down to draw 3 cards and you're only able to say draw 1, it's time to shuffle. Grab your entire discard deck, shuffle it thoroughly, and that's how cards that you purchase get into your rotation. Okay, I only had 1 card left. I reshuffled. Now I'm able to draw the remaining 2. When you draw an event to replace a card in the store, as mentioned earlier, this effect immediately takes place. In this case, it's alien flu. Until the next event appears, any crew with no alien crew members has a crew total of 0. That will remain in effect until a new event is drawn. So I'm going to put it right here where everybody can see it and draw a new card to replace. If I draw another event, like I did, this new event immediately takes precedent. And so now that is the active event. I keep drawing from one pile to the other until I don't get an event. On your turn, you'll likely have choices to make. For example, this crew member. I can place him on my crew, or I can spend him in the store, in which case he's discarded. I can spend this contract, or I can use it to get a new job. Credits always have to be spent. When you have a piece of tech in your hand, your decision is, do I want to place it on my ship? In this case, it goes in the engine slot. Or do I want to spend it? And if I spend it, remember, tech items go to the salvage pile so that anybody can buy them for 2 credits. If you go to put an item on your ship and there's already a card there, the previous card goes to the salvage pile. If you go to replace a member of your crew and there's a crew member there, it depends. If it is a local contact, it goes back to the local contact pile. If it's a crew member, it goes to the bottom of the crew pile. So if I were placing this to replace another crew member, that crew member would go to the bottom of the crew pile. Eventually, as the game goes on, you will accumulate 6 points of missions. Once you've accumulated 6 points of missions, the next time you draw a contract card, you can contract a final mission. And that's how you win the game, by defeating a final mission. You can only contract one final mission. When you do, it's like any other mission. It lists the requirements. In this case, the Imperium final mission requires a level 4 armor, level 4 weapon, and 4 different crew types. Note, local contacts do not count as a crew type. Okay, so you'll want pilots, navigators, commanding officers, mechanics, security officers. So you'll need 4 different crew types and a total crew value of 8 in order to complete this. If you are the first to complete a final mission, you win the game. Thank you for your kind attention, and be sure to also check out our other deck building game, Archangelis, which is available at www.archangelis.shop. And follow us on Facebook. Look for Archangelis Games.